All right, so today, I mean, we had gold hitting 3,120. It's just up almost 1% a day. It's ridiculous. We're getting used to it. I feel like we need some cold water on us. Like gold does not look like it wants to correct, but I mean, it should have a red day tomorrow. We're getting used to it. It's not good. I like red days, but it's just, we'll take a look at gold later. But today, the big takeaway was the markets. Now, the markets gapped lower, started at their lows, right? That's the open there you can see on the S&P below 550. It's kind of what I thought would happen, right? Sunday night, Bitcoin goes down. It indicates a lower open for markets in general, and indeed that was the case. Quite a few big stocks. I'm not going to look at them now, but your Nvidias, your I think Meta, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, basically Magnificent Seven and other big stocks were looking like they were opening under support. And we went down straight away at the open, basically double bottomed pretty quickly and closed pretty high. So it's a bullish close. That's a nice candle on the S&P. They all kind of have the same candle. So it was a decent day for the markets. The miners, and I'm going to take a look at the miners, obviously, they went down with the markets. At the open, I think pre-market it was like green or unchanged, whilst everything else was down. And then I don't know what happened, but I just take a look at the screen. It's just all red at the open. So let's just say miners and silver continued to follow the markets. They did bounce better than the markets, like they closed their gap very quickly. And gold obviously had a green day. Again, same as last week, same as the weeks before when the markets are red, gold just shines. But silver and the miners continue to follow the markets. But this time the markets had a nice bounce. So S&P, nice candle. They all have okay candles. I mean, look at that. Even the Russell clawing back. They look really bad, huh? Like at the beginning of the of the day. Imagine low of day there. It looks horrible, but clawed it back. I'm not going to look at all the markets. The DXY kind of follows the markets lightly, right? It's still a green day. Yields today, okay, yields down. But don't really care. It used to be the most important thing, but don't really care. It's really the markets and the metals and the miners. Look at gold. I mean, it's just higher highs, higher lows, and not even lows at this point, just up, 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 just squeeze. That's squeeze stuff. It's ridiculous. Look, 2000, remember this 2000 level? Are we going to take it out? We're over 50% in a couple of months. It's just weird how strong that is. Almost a real indication of inflation, but still we're nowhere near it. That's just so strong. You need a red day, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I don't know what's next. I don't know. Fibonacci, big numbers. I don't know. And it's not like it goes inversely to the dollar or yields. And it doesn't even look like it's going inversely to the markets. Markets closed green and we're still up. And it's not like gold closed before the markets closed. It's just up. It's a runaway train. I have no words for it, except it's just beautiful, and I wish it was the case for silver. Silver's, again, tug of war, stuck between following gold and early on it was up. Really nice candle, sort of pre-market. Then gets taken down by the markets, like the miners. But then sort of the markets rally, and so does silver. It's really an industrial metal. It's a bit like copper in that respect, but it's doing better than copper because of gold. I don't know. I'm not an absolute expert. I mean, you had other metals do quite well too, by the way. Platinum and palladium, they're looking quite good, by the way. But gold steals the show as usual. Silver is dragged down by the markets. The miners were in. Look at that candle, by the way. I mean, I know the markets had a really nice candle, and they did, but that is the mother of all hammers. I mean, it could be better. It could have closed at absolute high of day, but that's confirming your support level. I mean, put it this way, the markets. Oh God, I hate covering both angles. They can go higher, they can go lower tomorrow, right? They had such a nice close that let's go back real quick, right? S&P, that's a nice close after hours, apparently, but I know a bit lower. It could go a bit lower, but I feel like the bottom is in for now, right? It's trying to put in a double bottom. We've got to see now whether we get to take out. All right, it's really this simple. Do we go and test this area and close above it and therefore indicate a new move higher, which is hard to imagine right now? Or do we start closing below this area and say, okay, no, double bottom failed? I'm not saying we're going to test one of those tomorrow, but we might go a little lower. And you know what? We might go a little high. I think we'll close higher. I think we'll test some. lower level, close a bit higher, and then we'll see. It'll be like sideways, and either we test up there, or we test down there, and then we'll break basically. Whichever way we test, we'll probably break higher. Um, yeah, if I can say that. But I say that to say this, the miners, right? If we have another move higher, GDX, let's say, if we go a little higher, we're going to be testing this level. So for me, it's the same sort of levels, right? You're testing this low down here or this high up here. And once you test it, you break it, and gold will help if it keeps squeezing, but we can't ask that much more from gold. It's silver's turn to really pick up the baton and run, but silver's dragged by the market, so we have to keep up the markets. That's GDX. SIL, they all have similar charts, of course. SIL massive. So now we're gonna okay, so this is your resistance, and honestly, we're just gonna have to drop this down. That's now your support, just because of today's candle. A really nice candle. It would have been better if there was support already down here. It made a new low, but it's all about the close. GDXJ, similar stuff. Yeah, basically it remains the same there and there. SILJ, that's your support pretty much there. Exactly. And your resistance is all the way up here. This is just the middle ground. Actually, a bit of a support in itself, but I'll just remove it. I prefer to have a wider range. So there's your support. Let's look at the actual portfolio. So really the point is if the markets go up tomorrow, we're going to have some continuation and could start testing the higher range, should start testing the higher range. And either you nibble out or you hold. I'm going to nibble out because I feel like when push comes to shove, the miners go down with the markets. We outperform on the way down, but we still go down. And when you have one of those minus 5% days, and there were a few stocks that were minus 5, 6% at one point, right? Hecklers, CDEs. I saw that minus 6, 7%. Didn't like that. And that's when I was thinking, geez, I should have sold more as usual. So I know that when push comes to shove, and if the markets start to flush, really flush, it's all red. It's all 3, 4, 5% red, minus thousands of dollars in your portfolio. Um, and yes, some of the other stocks, the blue chips, Nvidia's down 10%. Ha ha ha, we're beating you, but you're still losing money. So I don't mind the trims, and I'm still too heavy. And I would love to be heavy on the sidelines, the cash on the sidelines, seeing everything red. I'd be losing a bit of money in my portfolio, of course, but I'd be licking my lips at entering, and I would enjoy the flush because when it's down heavy, I'm not always enjoying it when I don't have enough on the sidelines. So, and obviously the danger with that is that the miners all of a sudden start going up with gold and silver, and the market's going down, but it's very unlikely, and I'm willing to take that risk. Right, Newmont basically did what GDX did, right? If we have a small up move tomorrow, I think we can test already 49.49. That's where I'm looking to do a little trim. Support, I'm going to say, is down here. It's going to be hard to break that, especially tomorrow. So I'm looking to hold and trim on the way up. Barrick Gold, really nice candle, basically perfect candle for a down day. Look at that close. This will test its high. This will test basically just under 20. There's your support, very obvious support. So, 1880 and 20, basically, give or take 20 cents. I'm looking for a tiny trim up there. Next one, Agnico Eagle, maybe even a better candle just because of how much green it closed. Actually, no, the other one was better, sorry. But it's just a better stock. So this, if there's any upside tomorrow, we're probably going to close above 110 new all highs. The support is a bit hard to call. I would say this is support, and this huge one is support because of the ascending. Pan American Silver, nice candle, all things considered. Uh, okay, I think that is still a support. No, actually, let's give it some room. That's your support, that's your resistance. And yes, you have a bit of a descending resistance, maybe. I'd expect some resistance there. Next one is Wheaton. Perfect. Even better than Agnico in terms of today's strength, or at least close. They're both perfect. This one tomorrow, if we have an update, this made a new all-time high today. That's ridiculous. And it's closed at a new all-time high. This will just run, go to 80. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but yeah, the day after tomorrow. Depends if the market's up. This is just like Nico and Wheaton. Honestly, if you don't know what to do with your money, just throw it in those two. You're good for years. Franco Nevada, that too will probably hit its new. its recent high up here on any up move tomorrow. Support, yeah, probably here, and then big support there. I agree with that. Tala never fails to disappoint this one. Close at low of day. Already you can see the difference in the candle. Lost support, right? Or is what's 286 supposed to be support because of this? Not really. Support for me is down here. The the the, the lows, absolute horrible place. I don't know. You need an update tomorrow to reclaim 294. It's just hopeless, this one. Honestly, I had cells here at 309, 315. I got my machine gun cells here. Nope. I mean, it should have closed today at like 305 just to equal the others. And then tomorrow, if there's an update, you might get some early cells, and at least I would. No, no chance of that. I don't know what to say. I'm just holding because a bit like B2 Gold, you don't sell these levels, but this is my worst miner, clearly now. I'm just holding. That's your level. I think this is also a level. You can see how much, but we lost it. Does that become resistance? Probably not, actually, but I'm just going to leave it anyway. I don't even want to talk about this stock. It's just, I'm holding it until better days. First Majestic, that's okay. It's okay. The silver stocks just weren't as good as these seniors, of course, because silver was unchanged by the end, but nowhere near as good as gold. Gold is basically the best asset in the world at the moment, up 1%. But still, we didn't go down too much. It was a small red day. It's holding support just about. Can I say that's? I don't know. You got too many levels here. Um, I'm gonna add this one just because of the how low the wick is. Who knows? But anyway, it kind of held this 670 zone. Really, 680 might have been support, but I'm just gonna give it a bit of leeway here because of where it closed and the day before's low of day is similar. Resistance on the way up. Ooh, I don't know. Do we have a descending? Not really. Maybe. Might not count. Depends what silver does. So maybe you got some at $7. Yeah, I can imagine some big round number. There you go. The descending plus the big round number. Maybe you have something at $7. Plus it's quite the move from yesterday, from today's low day all the way to seven. That's probably another reason to start trimming there if that's what you want to do. But First Majestic, okay, you just need silver to squeeze for this to run, basically. You're not going to have it run without silver squeezing. But anyway, decent recovery. Fortuna, that's nice. Hit support clearly. That's clearly support. Also from before, it's a gap fill zone. You can see that. So that stays, and resistance is over here. If tomorrow we have a good day, then I expect some resistance around 639, 6, yeah, from 640 to 650. Let's make a big circle, whatever. And then, by the way, you're running to seven new highs, new 52-week highs. So this has got strength behind it, good news behind it. This has an excuse to do it. Very nice. CDE. Now, this little nonce over here. Horrible. Okay, recovery is okay, huh? But definitely closed the day red, right? Like 3% or something. Uh, it did venture very far down. It was down like 7% or something. Where's that close from Friday all the way to low of day? 8%. How dare? 8%, and I didn't buy any, by the way. I didn't buy any dip. I was wondering if we're going to go much lower. I was checking the general markets. I was checking general stocks also. And I saw CD down 7%. I thought about it, but it was just, I hate to say it was too fast for me. The bounce started to come. Didn't want to buy the bounce. I thought the market would make new lows and take down the miners. I thought I'd have a second bite at the apple. But by the close, minus 3%, it's almost like a non-event. But compared to the others, I notice how weak it is. This I move lower. Support becomes resistance. So this is a level to me. Let's see if we have an update, we're gonna go straight through it. But yeah, it's weaker than the others. It's not the CDE I used to know. Maybe we have some resistance just before 650. I'm gonna do that. That descending, I think, counts. Then we have this old level. Well, I'm gonna readjust it to hit today's low of day. And that's all I'm going to do about that. So those are your level. Those are the levels I see. Of course, this high remains a level. Those are the four areas of interest for CDE. If we do go up, if there's a silver squeeze, I'm removing a lot of cells. I probably keep one or two in little trims, but CDE, First Majestic, Fortuna, all the silver stocks I hold, they're all cult crazy stocks. They should move wildly if this silver squeeze happens. I hate repeating this word, silver squeeze, but we are kind of close with gold where it is and silver just underneath where it is. All right, anyway, CDE a little disappointing, but at least it recovered quite well. It's not like it stayed down 7%. Heckler, similar, not as bad as CDE, but didn't really close. Well, anyway, it's okay. Um, I don't know. I'm just looking at this low of day and the close. Does that count? Maybe I'm forcing it. Is this a level? This I see as level. This I see as level. This I see as level. And then today's low of day has to be a level. I mean, I'm got so many levels. I'm gonna end up being right, am I not? But still, those are the things I'm looking at. For me, it's just a hold. If it goes up there, if I and plus that's a round number, $6. If it looks like silver's gonna stop running, gold's finally topped out, and we're near $6, I'll probably trim. Put it that way. If the silver squeeze is not happening, EXK. Now this one was probably weaker than the others. We were going down last week whilst the others were not, and today we went lower. We had to. It was also down like 4% or something, maybe a bit more at one point. Uh, this level is not as obvious. I don't know. It's not as obvious. Anyway, the low of day today, clear. So there's something here. I can't describe it. I guess today's high of day. This resistance here, the support there, maybe. And over here, it's not obvious. I mean, I'd say 490 maybe, more than five, and obviously the high up there. I don't know. And there's probably something there. The two high of days. I'll leave it like that. I'm just ready to hold and basically watch silver to judge these. But silver is following the markets, and the markets could go up a little more, right? Remember the S&P, you could have that little pump to see can it test all resistance. And it's almost like I'm gonna judge my silver miner trims based on the S&P. It kind of makes sense. It's just horrible to say that. All right, Mag Silver, this one was a bit weak too. Uh, right, well, this is your real support now. This, no, it's too close anyway. I'm gonna leave it. There's obviously a level here in between. I don't want to say it's 16 because it's just all this clutter here. There's no obvious stop at 16 on a daily candle. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. I will, however, say that this is gonna be a resistance rather than 1750. It's more gonna be, just before 17. All right, those are the levels for the silver miners. Yeah, Max Silver was not great, not the best bounce either. Down over 2.5. Next one, ARMN, RS Mining. That did okay. I trimmed that at 460. Yeah, well, everything else was down, and this one being illiquid and slow was still green. I just trimmed some at 465 because I thought we were going to go lower. And the others bounce, and this one drops. It's always slow and late to react to what everyone else is doing. Okay, mini level here, and I'll leave it like that. There's obviously something here around 470, but I think if you have an update, you can go up a lot more. So these are my levels. This one I'm just holding. It's not worth too much compared to the others. It has risen in value since the pump, but I'm okay holding this one. I've already trimmed twice up here. Yeah, this one here, I got the top, and then today 465 or something. So I'm okay with that. Just holding that. Right, next, I am gold. This is no longer a level. Today's low of day kind of coincides with that area, about, yeah, $6. Let's call it 6 now. This is the high. Um, no, we'll just leave it at that. Between 6 and 660. If we have a nice move up tomorrow, the metals, silver, the markets, whatever the reason, then we could end up testing 650 or even higher. And that's probably an area to trim if you're not sure. B2 gold. I didn't have my good deal cancelled by 280, 279 was your low, was the level. That's a double level of, it's not just here, but it's also the ascending. More importantly, the ascending is, I think I was looking for a move even lower. I think I have my good till cancel 275. I missed it for a few cents. That could be a good long-term buy, but we just had bad news with the market down. You could have another day. I don't know. It's probably worth a buy today. So anyway, that's your support. It remains pretty much where it was today. I don't think we lose it and go to 260. That's a little too much. Resistance, probably going to be 309, where it came from before. That was kind of support before. Otherwise, you might as well hold out. I think we're going to go all the way up in a few weeks anyway. I'm not going to draw the descending. Equinox did okay. Didn't go down too much. Didn't bounce too much. But basically, end of the day, green unchanged. Can't argue with that. Support held though, 670. That was pretty clear. And I think 720 is pretty clear too on the way up. So not going to change my levels there. SSRM, not really sure how. I obviously don't own that, and it was a bit of a drop. But support for me is 940, which is where I trimmed it ages ago. Well, I closed the position at 940. Didn't even hit that today, but I see that as strong support. You can see the ascending. It's also a bit of level here, which is also why I sold it, I think. So, but yeah, I don't know. There must have been news, and if it wasn't news, it just had to have a flush. It hasn't had a flush in a while, whilst others have, and it's still really strong. I'm not looking to buy this though. I would buy this if it really flushed. Finally, actually wait, and resistance of course is going to be well yeah, price support 1070. I'd agree with that. I don't think it's going to go higher, not for now. Finally, SBSW, probably the best out of all of them. Highest percentage move, closed a high of day, closed above resistance. Looks like it wants to run, and it's kind of following palladium or platinum or whatever. And they didn't move much. They were 1 or 2%. And they look like they could run a little bit more, right? Palladium could go all the way to 1,000, above 1,030. Who knows? It could squeeze after that because let's zoom out. It's absolutely in the gutter, right? In fact, it looks like the SBSW chart. That could easily squeeze a bit, like every commodity should. And platinum has a similar chart. If we start closing above this 1,010, you could squeeze up to 1,050. And with the amount SBSW is moving with the small percentage moves, that could make SBSW easily get to 520 or even $6. So, and remember, zoom out of this one to remind yourself where you are. That's not asking too much. Those are huge percentage moves. And this would end up being worth, if I didn't trim anything on the way up, and I've only got these two trims here, this could end up being worth more than a Nico Eagle by the time it gets to test $6. So this is exciting me quite a lot ever since the fake triple flush breakdown. Right, that'll do. For me, the main takeaway is how the miners react to the markets and how silver reacts to the markets, which is to say they follow it. Gold is helping, right? So we're going down less or up more generally than the broader market, but you got to pay attention to the influence. And it's less DXY and yields, it's more just market. And if you have market crash days, 93% chance you're going to have the miners red. All right, tell me what you think. Otherwise, enjoy tomorrow.